Hello TDSL here, and welcome to another weekly Rant video. We have a special guest this day, and it's not only baseball lover, we also have TheChuddude.
Hello. Good day. It's Australian day.
Exactly. Not many of you will know who TheChuddude is, but he also does these kind of videos on his channel. I've seen some of his kind of Rant video where you talk about the different stages in the 2 Down Under, for example. They're quality, you should go watch him. There's a link in the description below with baseball lover as well. But let's get this going. First of all, I want to talk about the 2 Down Under. What was your guys' overall impression before we talk about the individual stages?
Baseball. You can go first.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought that the overall GC played out much more towards favorites and actual climbing than I would have thought. You know, with a guy like Slatter winning last year, I figured it would just be like one of those punchy outsiders, but it really turned out to be kind of a favorites battle. But also, I kind of called Ulysses, just saying he had a great performance, and yeah, I take back what I said about Evans. Really nice performances there.
I called it.
I don't.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I still don't think he's gonna do well with the Giro.
I think a lot of the Aussie guys, they were actually really focusing on this race. It's become like a big thing to them to do well in this race. It's pretty important for, especially Orica. I know they have like one of their pretty much key objectives is to win this stage race. So it was pretty good. It was pretty good for them to succeed in this race. I guess it's a big thing. A lot of the sponsors revolve around this, so they're definitely gunning out for it. And then we saw Cadell and Richie Port. I think Richie Port was going for more of stage wins instead of the overall. I questioned some of the moves he made, but yeah, Cadell rode pretty well. Settled for second place. I'm surprised. I thought if he could have gone for an intermediate sprint in the last one, but yeah, that's what he does.
It's too risky, but yeah, I would also say that I liked the 2 Down Under because it was right to the very end, like it was very exciting to the very end. It's pretty good, but let's talk about the individual stages. The very first stage was an uphill finish, but it was flat all the way to the end. The winner of that stage was Simon Gerrans. What do you guys think of that stage? Because that was kind of a first time we see Greipel getting beat by another guy that's not a sprinter.
Well, we saw last year when he beat Sagan in the Tour, that he does have a bit of a kick, but when you just get the lead out perfect like that, and he just managed to pip him.
I also think a big fact, I think a big fact of Gerrans winning that was because there was a hill at the end, and Greipel probably lost a lot, yeah. But Greipel got over a lot of the hills over the Tour, so he showed you can climb a bit.
That shouldn't be an excuse, because if Greipel wants to win the green jersey in the Tour de France this year, he's going to be able to finish uphill as well. So it shouldn't be an excuse for a guy like Greipel, but I guess it's early in the season, and a guy like Simon Gerrans targets this race a lot more than a guy like Greipel does. It's a very exciting finish, though. I did not see that one coming. The second stage was a hilly stage, and this was the first time we see some of the favorites actually sprinting forward, and we saw Diego Ulisi winning the stage and beating Simon Gerrans, who I believe I got like second or third in that stage. What do you think about that? Go again, baseball lover.
I called Ulysses. He's shown that he's very good on those little punchy finishes. He's got a good kick, and so I wasn't really surprised to see him go in first, especially from a little sprint like that.
I think Ulysses. I don't see him doing much in this year. Maybe give him a couple years, and he'll develop to a bit. He's still very young. He's like about 24 years old, and I was pretty surprised that he got Gerrans on the sprint, because going in, like when I was watching live, I thought Gerrans probably had it, and the stage was pretty much set up for Gerrans to win that stage. So it's pretty good to see someone else actually take it. So yeah,
this entire stage race was kind of set up for, oh, we're gonna have an Australian guy win it, because most of the stages were either set up for Simon Gerrans, Cadel Evans, or Richie Port. That's how it looked like. But I mean, that stage was very exciting. First time I really see Diego Ulisi doing anything that's really major, so congratulations to the young kid. That was really impressive by him. The next stage, we saw an old guy coming back to show he's in form. This is the Tour de France winner of 2012 or something like that. Cadel Evans beat Richie Port on this mountain stage, or hilly stage as I would call it. What do you guys think about that?
Well, that climb, I like to mention Corkscrew Road. That's actually one of the more well-known climbs in Australia. you could say. And Cadell, I thought, rode that really well. Girons did that pretty poorly. He actually stayed in the pack and was in poor position when Cadell attacked, and he probably wasted a lot of his energy trying catch up. But Cadell rode it really well. Full credit to him, and he did stay away when it was a downhill. So congratulations to Cadell. I really enjoyed that one. That one was actually a very entertaining stage. Stayed on my seat the whole time, didn't move. So
yeah, well,
probably one of my favorite stages.
Well, that's true. I can actually tell you, Corkscrew Road was the place where Jürgen Roland crashed last year and had a terrible injury. I have this information from Handball, of course, and he did a wheelie to celebrate that he didn't crash this time on there. There's pictures on this on Twitter, and that was very exciting, actually. I mean, I'd be sorry for a guy like him, who actually got second in the very next stage, in the stage that the Greibel won. And the next stage, I gotta say, that was just pure ownage from Lotto Belisol, plus a fan favorite, L.A. Viviani, getting third. It's always nice to see him doing something.
A fan favorite.
Fan favorite.
More like a fan enemy or something like that.
Yeah.
Villain. But what do you think about that stage, Baseball Lover? Did you see Lotto going first and second, and Viviani getting third, because he came from very far behind?
Yeah, I saw that. I was actually just kind of watching Greipel take it, and then Code messaged me and said, "Did you see what Viviani did in there?" And so I watched it again. What an amazing lead out by Lotto. Like, to get their lead out man second, like, I haven't seen that done, you know, in a World Tour race since High Road, really.
Yeah, back in the day when it was Mark Renshaw and Cavendish.
Yeah.
They were so organized, yeah.
Yeah, they were also the only team to really bring a sprinter train, except for Orky Greenedge. But Orky Greenedge's train is not really a train when they only have... They have, what's his name, Daryl Impey, and they've got Simon Gerrans. That's their train, basically. And
they had Goss there, but they didn't use him ever.
Well, since when is Goss a sprinter anymore? I mean, I'd never seen him
Well,
sprint.
you're using him right now, aren't you?
Well, I'm not gonna, I actually oversaw him. I was not going to use him. I was going to use Impey and Gerrans to sprint in the end. Just to recreate the atmosphere of the Tour Down Under.
Well,
yeah.
TheChuddude, if you use Bonin leading out with Cav, I'll use Rollins leading out with Greipel.
Right, that's done deal.
Exciting finish, guys. So,
yeah.
Let's go on to the next stage. We have the Willonga stage, but probably the most exciting stage in my opinion. I like this one more than I did the Corkscrew Road stage. I gotta say that when I saw Orky Greenedge's Simon Gerrans catching up to Evans and actually beating Evans in the end by 10 seconds, the excitement was back in the race. But of course the winner was Richard Port. What do you think about that, TheChuddude? That stage?
I was actually very disappointed the way Cadell rode. I definitely think he could have kept his jersey that stage. I don't know if he would have kept it overall after today's stage if he did keep it. But Richie Port rode that pretty well. You look the strongest, definitely there. There's no disputes there. But Cadell Evans, he was in no man's land really. He was like sort of in between chasing Port and I don't know what he was doing. But I think he was pumping up too much watts at the start. And anyone who rides, you got to maintain the watts. And Cadell, he didn't do that. He sort of like rode really hard at the start, and pretty much the lactic acid probably kicked in at the end when Gerrans tempo rode him back. So I thought he probably should have stayed on Gerrans' wheel, and probably, yeah, that's all.
Yeah, I mean, he really was trying to get Port back early, but after that, I think he kind of lost it, and he cracked. We've seen that from him before, I'm just saying.
According to an interview I heard of Simon Gerrans, he said that there was a really strong headwind, and the reason for him not to go early like Evans did was because he wants to save the energy and wait for the final 2 kilometers and then just unleash whatever you had. Because according to him, if you went early in the stage, you would die. And we saw that with Cadel Evans trying to catch up to Richie Port and get carried to the finish line by Richie Port, but he never caught up because he died in between, and that probably cost him the overall victory of the Tour Down Under. So that was really well played of him.
I don't think that's an excuse because Richie Port rode in the wind. It was the same wind that Cadell was riding in when Cadell was in between.
I agree.
That might be true, but when you see the power difference between Richie Port in form and Cadel Evans in form, I mean, today's stage, I think Richie Port could even do this up Alpe d'Huez with a crosswind of 50 miles an hour. I mean, there's no stopping Richie Port and Froome, which they just get going. But, I mean, that was that stage. Very exciting stage. Then, of course, everyone's favorite stage in PCM, or at least mine, or the PCM trios. Adelaide, Adelaide. It's so fast, it's so easy, and it's just one big roundabout. It was a very exciting stage, and it's everyone in Australia loves this stage, right, TheChuddude? Like I heard,
not today.
oh yeah, of course. But I heard people they like instead of taking the bus to the Adelaide stage, they ride their bike from Wollonga to Adelaide. Is that true?
I don't know. I don't live in Adelaide.
Okay, because I read something on Twitter about that. But once again, we saw lots of dominance, and we saw Andrew Guile winning the stage. Who got second on that stage? Actually, I didn't check.
Oh yeah, it was. Who was it?
Exactly.
Renshaw got it.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, Renshaw got it,
And Andrew Fenn got third.
He was leading out Fenn. Renshaw was supposed to lead out Fenn, and he's got gripe with
That's
Will
a horrible idea. Renshaw's a way better sprinter than Fenn.
Definitely. But what do you guys think of that stage? Yeah, later stage. Did it live up to expectations?
Gripe won. You know.
I was expecting GC sprint out for intermediate sprints. Got disappointed.
Well,
so
I can tell you one thing. If Gerrans was the guy behind Evans, he would have sprinted for it. But a guy like Evans does not have the balls, because he's gonna be like a little rocket, and he's gonna fall. It's gonna be so awkward for him to sprint on flat road. He's just a hazard to the other riders. So I mean, I'm kind of glad he didn't.
And Ulysses probably would have made up time on him.
Definitely.
Looking at it now, yeah.
Well, I guess my overall impression of the Tour Down Under is it didn't disappoint, except the fact that Fayez and I had to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning to record this. It was worth it. It was a very good stage race. But on to another stage race that's going on right now. It's Tour de San Luis out in Argentina, with probably the world's worst coverage, but that's okay. So let me hear you guys. It's almost done. We have one stage left. What do you guys think? What is your overall impression of the stage race so far?
You can go first.
All right. So far, I haven't really caught up on much. I'm just catching up to all the stages at the moment, and I've been watching on the Cycling Hub, and it's just horrible. It seems like it's a hole there at Argentina, and overall I think it's definitely a race for like the younger riders who are not that well known to make a statement, and then you got your guys like Quintana who will just test the legs out and do whatever early on in the season he wants, and he actually hasn't made up his mind on what Grand Tour he's going for yet, so that'll be interesting to see as well.
Very. How about you, baseball lover?
I was very impressed with Philip Gaiman. I didn't really know much about him, to be honest, except that he was an American and that he was on Garmin this year and that he was a rookie. But he really showed he's always been competitive, even after he lost it. He's still been very competitive, still been in top 10s, top 20s. And so I was very impressed with him. Of course, Quintana, though, just blowing everybody out of the water. And, of course, Stetna's on BMC now.
It's funny to see, yeah, thanks. It's funny to see that Philip Gaiman is actually 27 years old and he's a rookie in the professional sport of cycling.
Really?
Yes, he's 27 years of age. I checked, according to Pro Cycling Stats, 1,400 people went onto Pro Cycling Stats, checked up his profile after he had won that stage. That just shows how unknown this kid is. It's very exciting. But, I mean, congratulations to him. He won the breakaway and he got lucky. It's very good for him. So, that was the first stage over. Mark DeMar got cheated out of the victory, in my opinion, though. I was saying in the commentary in the Cycling Hub, I thought he was going to win, but due to a badly placed car in a roundabout, he crashed. What do you guys think about that? When the race is not even safe for riders like that, when spectators can get in the way, how can you fix that, guys?
That's part and parcel of cycling, I think. Giving that crowd atmosphere, and I'm surprised more of these accidents hasn't gone on. I don't know. You can't really do much about it. You can't really fence off, the whole roads. I actually haven't seen the crash itself, but I've heard of it. I've read articles on it, but yeah, there's not much you can do. What can you do when you get buses stuck under the finish line as well?
Oh yeah, well it also goes through, the same thing goes with the dogs in the Tour de France. I mean, they're just a reoccurring thing that happens when spectators bring their dogs and they get off their leash and they don't want to feel. I think it was Goedeman one year who crashed because of it. I mean, that's just nothing you can do about it. It's a part of the sport, but it's a terrible part of the sport. So let's go on with the second stage. The second stage was a very exciting mountain stage, and it was Stedner versus Arredondo, and I can tell you that Arredondo won the stage, and he looks to be a very promising young rider this year for Trek Racing Factory. What do you guys think of that stage?
I think it
Okay,
just
cool.
proves that the Colombians are just gonna own the sport in a couple of years.
Yeah, they
Could well
have
be.
they have
Yeah.
Atapuma as well with Quintana.
They got who? They got Betancourt, they got Enel, they
Around.
got Uran, they got Quintana, they got Moreno, they have Arredondo. I mean, they're just gonna completely wipe out.
And Peter Stettner's no slouch on the climbs. He can really actually
No,
this is zoom up there. I think
Well,
if he
according
wants
to
to.
Iso, Stedner he's not a big deal. He's just a small kid, so that's a PCM
Did you
daily
see him?
thing.
Did
Yeah.
you see him at the World Champs last year? He actually did pretty well.
He did?
Yeah,
So much-
that's how I actually found out who he was. That was the first time me seeing him, and he's doing pretty well for World
Well,
Champs. So.
I knew because of the MLC, because Baseball Lover picked him and SMC picked him and all sort of stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's how I knew him. But it's very exciting. Yeah, go.
I'm actually very surprised that he left Garmin. To be honest, I mean, I could see why because they're getting more and more guys. Yeah, but he was on Garmin before like anybody else, basically. Like he was on Garmin when Dan Martin was still Stagire.
Yeah, that's a long time ago. But I mean, you gotta move on with your
Yeah,
life.
you gotta do what's best for your career.
Exactly, and I don't think he achieved what he wanted at Garmin, and he might have thought he
No.
would do different on BMC, but I can tell him he's definitely not gonna do any different. you can quote that. But next stage, we saw a guy who's not really won that many stages, but it's Guacomo Ninsolo, a very good guy in PCM Armada, I can tell you that. But he won the third stage, which was a hilly finish, and it was very exciting to see him win, because he sprinted like a madman. What do you guys think of that stage? You can start off this time, TheChuddude.
Was that the one with Boonen sprinting?
Yeah, that was the one where
Boo-
Bone let out. No,
Cavendish
that's
led
yeah,
out.
that's when the Cavendish let out Bone because it was an uphill
Yeah.
finish.
I saw that one. That was actually surprising. I didn't really think Nizzolo as a big name sprinter who can go against someone like a Bonin. And Bonin's a really good sprinter. A lot of people forget that because he's made the switch really to the classics. And I was actually surprised to see Nizzolo win that sprint. I don't know if he's won much sprints, has he, lately? I don't
No,
know.
I haven't heard his name that
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was
That's-
very exciting. But I think that big headline for that one stage was Cavendish leading out Bone. What do you think about that, Baseball Lover?
I think that was crazy. Because obviously Cavendish had the legs. Because when he pulled off, Bonin was slotted in perfectly. But
Yeah,
Bonin can barely sprint anymore.
That's true.
I think that it was a horrible idea, and I also think that it was obviously just some kind of training. I don't really know. Maybe they just want to give Bonin a shot in a smaller race. But
looked like it.
whenever Cavendish is there, I think they could have won that stage for the team if they had let out Cavendish, and they didn't. So
Well, according...
think-
Yeah, go.
Do you think Cavendish would have been mad in the team bus, like breaking stuff? Or anything
No,
like
because he would have been mad if he lost that on his own. Like if he had
Yeah.
sprinted for it and lost it, he'd been mad. But I think when he realized he was a lead out man, I don't think he cared. I mean, he's like, well, I'm gonna ride my race, and you can win or you can't win. It's just gonna prove that I'm better than you. That's how
So
I
someone wrote a comment and said that Cavendish's objectives were later on in the season when
That
going
was
on
what I
Cycling
was
Hub.
gonna mention as well. I read that as
Yeah.
well, where there was a quote where Cavendish got asked why the hell did he lead out a guy that's worse than him, and he said, "Well, my objectives are in July, the Tour de France, while bonus is in April and March. So he's got priority now, while I've got priority later." It's a very nice team spirit in that team. Then I would never go with that. Not
Sounds
if a
like
big
a load
name
of
like
shit.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's nice. It's nice by Cavendish to do something like that because he's been known to be a big ego, and I don't think you could ever convince him to lead out another guy. But he did it.
Surprising.
yeah, I wouldn't have thought it.
No, I wouldn't either. But next stage, we saw probably one of the future Tour de France winners win a stage. Nairo Quintana completely dominated everyone in the King stage. What do you guys think about that? I can tell you, like, second place with the Atapuma, and then your third, you got some sort of Argentinian guy. Fourth, another Argentinian guy. Fifth, another Argentinian guy. What do you think of that stage?
Quintana early on in the season looks pretty good. That's what comes up there. But how do you really measure him against these other guys like the unknowns? Like I don't really know how good his form is. Generally, it seems pretty good, but I don't know how these guys are. It will seem that it makes sense that those guys are in pretty good form because it's probably one of their bigger races for the year for like a not well-known rider, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think, baseball lover?
I was not surprised about Quintana at all. I was surprised about all those Argentina guys a little bit, but then I realized they were probably like, well, I better peak for this race, so...
Well, I'm kind of surprised that
Exactly.
Daniel Diaz, a guy who did really consistent last year in the Tour de San Luis, was nowhere to be seen. He won it last year by getting second and third places here and there, and he even got second on the stage where Contador won it last year, and he was nowhere to be seen this year. Also, another thing I'd like to talk about is guys like Van den Broek and Nibali and Rodriguez were in this race, but they just treated it like a training exercise. Do you think is that good for a race like this? You can start off this time, baseball lover.
I think that if it was closer to the actual season, you know, I know I'm saying actual season as though this isn't a real race, but I mean, it's kind of, there's no World Tour races in February, if I remember correctly, so they're not really worried about their form right now. Usually they would try if they were trying to build their form a lot. They were just kind of like getting their race days in, I guess.
True.
Yeah, I think a lot of these guys these GC guys who ride early on in the season, they're just pretty much riding it, just get the legs ticking over from the off season. Some might have, and then I've heard the UCI actually trying to move the Santos Tour down under up to February just for that same reason of the season's too long, starts too early, and that's why I think I actually agree with that, but I think you can't really look too much into what Rodriguez and Nibali's doing. Like, who really cares? Because they probably don't either.
Well, the thing about that is, I mean, I read an article before I really did the stage race, recorded it, and it was like, it's going to be the biggest crowd ever, it's going to be the biggest peloton ever, we're going to have this big name, this big name, this big name, and then only one out of like 6 big names shows up. That's like disappointing the race for me. That's like the Tour de France. You bring all the big guns, well, only one decides to show up because the other ones are targeting the Vuelta a España. It's a part of cycling, but I don't agree on that part. I mean, if you're there, you're there to win.
And I like, on one of my videos, I said that someone said that the San Luis is attracting bigger riders. Yeah, they're probably attracting bigger names, but the guys that rock up there aren't in any sort of shape to ride, you know, competitively compared to the Santos Tour down under, where you do have people like Adele who's in some sort of decent shape to actually perform and make it entertaining. Yeah.
True that. You want to add anything to that, baseball love, or do you want to go into the next stage?
I agree with that, yeah.
Okay, so the next stage was probably the best coverage from Channel 13, which is the channel that's covering the Tour de San Luis. It was a time trial, and they showed all 3 hours of it, and they had a camera on every single rider. I was really impressed about that, and it was a nice, exciting finish. We actually didn't see Taylor Finney winning this stage, which everyone was thinking of, but we actually saw Adriano Mallory from Lamprey winning the stage, and this was also the stage that Quintana took that orange leader's jersey away from Philip Gaimon, but he got 4 days in that jersey. What do you think about that time trial and Finney not winning the stage? You can start off, baseball lover, since he's American.
I really thought that Finney would take it, but I had seen Mallory many times before. I believe he did really well in a Giro stage a year or 2 back. He's a great time trialist, but I really thought that Finney, by this time, would be there to take this pretty easily. Kind of disappointed.
Yeah, he lost it by 3 seconds.
And then we come back to a conversation of guys, this can't be stuff getting into decent form at the start of the season because there's really not much point. But and even someone like Finney, that they pretty much won. He came second. The guy who came third there was a big distance, wasn't there? Big time gap.
40 seconds.
Yeah,
40 seconds.
Yeah, so yeah, it's hard to really.
But it did show that he was going for it. I mean, if he wasn't going for it, he'd be like 50 seconds behind, 1 minute behind. But him only being 3 seconds behind a Mallory. That shows he actually was going for it, not as good as we might think he is.
For sure he was going for it, but the form he's in, he's not going to win it. But of course, for a time trial specialist, any time trials they go in, they're going to go for it, and basically, that's a fact. I think, yeah. Actually,
another topic I want to talk about this time trial is I saw on PCM Daily this one guy compared a screenshot of Quintana's time trial form last year and this year, and there's such a big difference that I actually think Quintana can dominate both the mountain and be okay in the time trial next year up against Froome. So he's really concentrated on his time trial. I don't think I might be able to link that picture in the comment section below, but it's very exciting.
I'll have to see that as well. I'm actually interested. I would like to see that. All he needs to do is be a par, above par like time trials, and he can probably win the tour in a couple of years as well. So it's good to see he's actually thinking about the other forms that the elements that are needed to win the tour. So I would like to actually see that, how he's actually riding the time trials.
I'll show it afterwards. It was like normally like last year he was like sitting very awkwardly, not in a very aerodynamic position. Like if you compare him to what's his name, Tony Martin, they'd be the complete opposites. But this year he was more smoothly. He was like down there. He looked comfortable, and he actually rode a pretty good time trial as well. So what do you think, baseball lover? Anything to add?
I think that he's just trying to straighten the part of his game that's not up to par. Like he's always been decent in the time trials, but he lost tons of time to a guy like Froome. Whereas in the mountains, he was with Froome in the last week completely. So he's just trying to straighten his game. I don't think that he would be able to challenge Froome in the time trials ever, but I think he's just trying to limit his losses because he showed that he can definitely beat him in the mountains on occasion.
That's a great tactic, though, in my opinion. So,
and one thing I would like to add as well, with the technology they got these days, they can always work on their forms, like all these little mechanics things they do in the training grounds now. It's actually pretty interesting to see, and it's not surprising to see someone like Quintana improving on his time trial. Yeah.
No, it was needed, though. For a guy like Quintana to actually go in for a Grand Tour, he needed his time trial to be above par. Like, I mean, if he's gonna, okay, he said he was gonna go for the Giro as well this year, and he can win that without having a great time trial. But the Tour, the crowd is bigger, everyone's gonna be in form, and if you wanna get that victory and beat Froome, you gotta have at least a decent time trial. He's got a terrible one last year. So next one, by the Queen stage, stage 6 in Tour de Saint Louis, and once again we saw this guy that nobody ever really heard of before, Arredondo, beating Quintana in a sprint on the uphill finish. This climb, Mira del Sol, was 7.5 kilometers long and 8% average, like what's it called, like going upwards.
Gradient.
Yeah, gradient. It was actually pretty surprising to see him beating Quintana. What do you guys think about that? You can start off, Chew.
Yeah, it's always good to see young riders. Quintana's probably, it was the time trial the day before.
Yeah.
You never know. Like someone might put their efforts into a time trial and then might be a bit more tired the next day. But yeah, it's definitely good to see those riders actually beating the bigger names. It just spreads out the field a bit, and it's definitely good for like viewers to see. And we'll hopefully see this rider's name in the future. Actually, first time me hearing about him as well. Yeah,
me too. What do you think about Arredondo beating Quintana, baseball lover?
I did not expect it, I'll tell you that much, but I wasn't shocked because of the nature of the victory. Like, it wasn't like everybody was separated and he beat him on a really long mountain. He got the jump on him in the end. But yeah, like Chu said, it's always nice to see someone winning.
Exactly. Actually, in the same stage, something very terrible happened. Vincenzo Nibali, one of the big favorites for the Tour this year, crashed and fractured a rib. And with this injury, I would suspect him to be out for a month. It's not gonna matter, but something like this might put some fear into him. If you can crash on a mountain stage, you can crash on any stage. What do you guys think about this terrible news?
I actually think it might be a blessing in disguise. It might stop him going to the Giro. I don't know if he was confirmed to go to the Giro. I hope he isn't, and I hope he goes to the Tour. So him breaking his rib might give him less chance to ride in the Giro and make it a better spectacle in the Tour.
He actually said
yeah,
this year
he said he's going for the Tour.
Yeah, he said he was completely only focusing for the Tour this year. I mean, you can't always keep them on their word. He might just go back and say, I can't miss out on the Giro, but I don't know. It might be good. It's good he got it early though. Imagine him getting that in like end of early June. If you got that in early June, his entire season would be over basically, and it would suck.
Was it his ribs? Yeah.
Yeah, it was fractured rib, which means he can't
breathing.
He can't breathe for a full amount. Like once you take that deep breath, it's gonna hurt because you're gonna hit your ribs, and that's when it hurts. Like I've done that before, and it really hurts. Speaking about a guy getting injured. I don't know how many of you have probably seen the funny picture of Froome getting sunburned through their new, really gay shirts, in my opinion. I mean, what do you guys think about that? Trying new shirts and getting sunburned. You can stop.
Yeah, well,
hilarious.
Team Sky, typical of them, try and get all these little gains. It's about
Marginal
time.
gain.
Yeah, marginal gains. It's about time for one little marginal gain to like backfire on them.
If only they had done this in the Tour de France, and he would have got sunburned like in the first week, and it would like he couldn't ride for the rest of the week. That'd be funny. I mean, imagine if they tried this later on in the season and want to come back to haunt them. But I mean, it's good for the sport they're trying new stuff. But I mean, that was kind of funny that they had to try that.
Talking about jerseys, did you for Saxo's one? Apparently, they might not use that one for the tour because of the yellow jersey clash.
It's
apparently.
so ugly. It's disgusting. I hate it. I mean, they basically inverted the shirt and it looks so dumb. They destroyed the jersey. But I hope they change it. I hope they go back to the old one. I'm looking at it on my wall right now, and it looks so much better. Plus,
I know.
Speaking about Saxo Bank, did you hear that first, like, earlier on this week, they officially changed their Russian license. Then later on the week, they changed back. Have you guys heard anything?
Danish?
Yep.
It's Danish. Wow,
They
I
first,
didn't hear that.
like, apparently they hadn't been officially Russian yet before the start of this week on the UCI webpage. And then later on this week, like Friday-ish, they changed back. Do you have any idea why that would be? I mean, it's
probably
very...
disputes in the upper hierarchy, I guess. Don't know. Could be various reasons. Unless they put a press release out, I don't think we'll ever know.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I can tell you that the general manager, Bjarne Riis, who won the Tour de France in 1996, said that the team is still Danish. Then Oleg Tinkov goes out like an hour or two afterwards and tells him, what is he to say that? It's Russian. He owns the team. This guy's nothing to say. And I can... So, Tinkov bought this team off Bjarne Riis, the 1996 champion. And though Bjarne Riis still says it's Danish, Tinkov says it's Russian. And I mean, who's got the power in that? Even though Tinkov's got the money, Riis has got the team. It's so difficult to say. Like, has that ever happened before? Like with a leader like that being so self-centered? It's very difficult.
It doesn't go well for the team either. Like if you have guys in upper hierarchy that's arguing, or I don't know, not on the same page, I guess, and it might lead to even the racing not in the same page as the teammates going. Who knows?
True. It's weird. Actually, a young rider I want to talk a little bit about. We saw in the Tour de St. Louis, we saw at the Puma actually doing pretty good. He went from Colombia. He transferred from Colombia to BMC. What do you think his chances are of doing great this season?
Great. Maybe in the little, not the bigger stage races, but maybe the 5, 6, 7 day ones. I don't see him really doing much this year. Maybe a couple of years time, but yeah, he's definitely a big name, and he's going to be a big name. And I've actually seen him like leading up to St. Louis this year, so definitely going to be a ride to look forward to.
Definitely. He's doing good. I guess I could kind of conclude this episode of Weekly Rant, guys. We'll have a finish here, and it's been very exciting. So if you enjoyed this Weekly Rant, please go out and check both Baseball Lover and TheChuddude's YouTube pages. They both do really good stuff. They deserve some love, because how many subs do you guys actually have?
72.
I have a bit of.
You do?
Yeah. I'm around there as well.
It's pretty good. That's what I was starting out with. Like, I remember the days when I first started off, there was only on the Games Guy, and that's probably before you guys' time. And it was so difficult to get through, but the bigger the community is now, it's very easy to get through and actually get some exposure, which I enjoy. Hope you guys enjoy it as well.
Yeah.
And I mean,
I've set up this... Yeah, go on.
Oh, I was going to say, like, if you have your inner TheChuddude or inner baseball lover out there and you think, oh, I can also do great commentaries, don't be afraid to contact any of us. Like, contact Fires, contact Baseball Lover. I mean, if you want to get through, if you want to actually get up through the ranks, you have to actually ask people to do something with you, because they're not going to bother otherwise. It's not like we are going to contact you, so you got to contact us, because we don't know who you are, but you know who we are, and that's how the entire rank system goes. Can you?
Yeah, for sure. And I'm actually, I just got contact. Someone hit me up, and we're actually going to do a video probably tomorrow or something as well. So feel free to like contact us if you guys see us or anything like that. We're always open-minded.
Exactly. The great thing about this community, we're all open compared to like the COD community. And you're like, YouTube and faggot, quickscope, 360 art, all that sort of stuff.
I'm trying to lead up Boone, and Cavendish just left him.
I'm trying. Oh, well, I'm trying to lead out Jarens, but
I'm just going for Cyberg.
Yeah, in the front. Yeah, I saw Cyberg up there a long time ago. Go on, Jarens! Oh, holy crap! There goes Elbows and Hagen. No, I'm dead with Jarens, by the way.
The breakaway's gone.
Did Seabug win this one? Where's Seabug? Oh, he's in the middle, yeah.
Trip him off.
Oh, come on, I want to beat Bone. I want to beat Bone with Jurath. I'm dead, though. Could have been funny. Oh, if that would have been Viviani, that's Caruso. But if that would have been Viviani, it would have been perfect.
Rollins is way back.
Look how small this guy is. Rude, the guy's second. Look how tiny he is compared to the guys around.
That's like that in real life, though. He's so tiny. But guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's time to say goodbye, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Please leave a like. Please go subscribe to their channels. See you guys later.
See ya.